Nick Sirianni's decision to say he can't guarantee A.J. Brown will be with the Philadelphia Eagles in 2026 might sound like a routine offseason comment, but in the NFL, wording matters. And this wording was anything but accidental. When a head coach leaves the door even slightly open regarding the future of a star player, especially one as prominent and expensive as Brown, it naturally raises eyebrows around the league. At the NFL Scouting Combine, Sirianni was asked directly about Brown's status for next season. Rather than offering a simple reassurance, he framed his answer within the broader uncertainty of the league. He said he expects to be coaching next season, but can't guarantee anything beyond tomorrow. On the surface, that sounds philosophical, a reminder that the NFL is unpredictable. But in practice, it's the kind of carefully constructed statement that avoids locking the organization into a public commitment. If the Eagles had zero intention of moving Brown, the easiest path would have been a firm endorsement. Yes, AJ will be here. Sirianni did say he wants Brown back and believes Brown wants to be in Philadelphia. However, he stopped short of shutting down speculation. In a league where front offices and agents analyze every syllable, that distinction is meaningful. General Manager Howie Roseman's comments added another layer. Roseman stated clearly that the Eagles are willing to listen to offers on any player. He explained that unexpected trade opportunities can arise and that refusing to even consider them would be poor team management. That philosophy isn't new. Roseman has long operated with a flexible, opportunistic mindset, but paired with Sirianni's non-committal stance, it suggests at minimum that Philadelphia is open to exploring Brown's value. This situation becomes more intriguing when you consider the context of Brown's 2025 season. Statistically, he rebounded after a slow start, but the overall numbers were modest by his standards. He finished with his second lowest yardage total since entering the league and posted his lowest catch rate since 2022. For most receivers, those numbers would still be considered strong. For Brown, a player who has established himself as a dominant, physical number one target, it represented a slight regression. More concerning than the production dip were the visible signs of frustration. Brown had multiple sideline outbursts during the season. Cameras caught tense moments where he appeared upset about play calling and target distribution. There were also post-game comments that hinted at dissatisfaction with his role. None of this necessarily means a relationship is broken, but it does indicate strain. In a locker room dynamic, perception matters, and star players publicly displaying frustration can influence organizational decisions. From a financial perspective, Brown's contract complicates everything. In 2024, he signed a 3-year $96 million extension with $84 million guaranteed. That deal does not truly kick in until 2026, and he remains under contract through 2029. This structure means the Eagles have long-term control, but it also means significant cap commitments loom. If Philadelphia believes Brown's peak years may begin to decline soon, he turns 29 in June, the team could consider maximizing trade value before that drop-off occurs. Age is a critical factor. While 29 is not old in general terms, for a physical, power-based wide receiver, it can represent the beginning of a decline phase. NFL history shows that receivers who rely heavily on strength and contested catches sometimes see performance dips around 30. The Eagles front office must evaluate whether Brown's skill set will age gracefully or whether his style increases risk of sudden regression. At the same time, trading Brown would create enormous offensive consequences. He has been a foundational piece of the Eagles' passing attack and a security blanket for quarterback Jalen Hurts. Brown's presence forces defensive coordinators to adjust coverage schemes, opening opportunities for other playmakers. Removing him would not simply subtract production, it would fundamentally alter the structure of the offense. Hurts's development has been closely tied to Brown's arrival in Philadelphia. The chemistry between the two was a key factor in the Eagles' offensive success over the past several seasons. If the team were to move Brown, it would signal either supreme confidence in Hurts' ability to elevate other receivers or a strategic pivot toward a more balanced, perhaps run-oriented approach. Another layer to consider is market demand. Despite a slightly down year, Brown remains one of the league's elite wideouts. Teams in win-now mode especially contenders lacking a dominant receiver, would likely express interest. However, his contract size narrows the pool. Any acquiring team would need both cap flexibility and belief that Brown represents the missing piece to a Super Bowl push. Trade compensation becomes a central debate. Would the Eagles demand a first-round pick? League chatter suggests his value may fall closer to a second-round selection, potentially with additional pick swaps. Comparisons to recent high-profile receiver trades show that age, contract size, and perceived locker room impact heavily influence return value. If Philadelphia feels they can secure premium draft capital before potential decline, that calculation becomes tempting. Timing also matters. If a trade were to happen, it would most likely occur before or during the NFL draft. Acquiring 2026 draft picks would allow the Eagles to immediately reinvest in young talent. Waiting longer could reduce leverage or push compensation into future draft classes, which teams may be hesitant to part with. Yet it's equally possible that this entire situation is strategic posturing. By refusing to guarantee Brown's presence, the Eagles maintain leverage in contract restructuring talks, motivate the player, or simply keep options open. Sometimes ambiguity is a negotiation tactic rather than a prelude to action. There is also the human element. Brown is known as a passionate competitor. Emotional sideline reactions don't necessarily equate to a desire to leave. Competitive frustration can coexist with commitment. The Eagles' leadership group will have ongoing conversations internally to determine whether last season's tension was temporary or symptomatic of deeper issues. For fans, the uncertainty is uncomfortable. Brown is not just another player. He is one of the faces of the franchise. Trading a player of that caliber sends a strong message about organizational direction. It can signal financial recalibration, culture recalibration, or strategic rebuilding, even if subtle. Ultimately, Sirianni's "can't guarantee" comment does not confirm a trade. It confirms flexibility. The Eagles are operating with open eyes and open phones. They recognize Brown's value, both on the field and on the trade market. They also recognize the financial and personality dynamics at play. The coming months will reveal whether this is off-season smoke or the beginning of a significant roster shift. If no compelling offer materializes, Brown likely returns motivated to prove 2025 was an anomaly. If a team presents a package Philadelphia deems too good to refuse, the Eagles may pivot toward future assets. For now, the only certainty is uncertainty. Brown remains under contract, remains talented, and remains central to Philadelphia's identity. But the door, however slightly, is open. And in the NFL, even a slightly open door can lead to dramatic change.